Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Alliance. Of course, I am your host, Clay, and with me, like every single week, of course, is Katie.
Hello
Katie, how
there.
you doing?
You know what? I could be better. It could be worse. I've still got a frog in my throat, clearly, as my voice just cracked. I don't
I,
know why it's sticking around.
neither do I. Um, I have been downing cough medicine and Mucinex and like everything. I've been trying to do everything that I can, right?
Hmm.
And I was actually pretty good today. And then I woke up from my nap after work. Amberlynn woke up from her nap. She wanted to watch uh, uh, Spider-Man and Friends. And as we were watching it, all of a sudden I just had like a huge coughing fit. And I'm like, what in the world has
Yep.
happened?
It's
Also, just want to say, Bat Daddy 52. It's been a long time no see.
hello, Greg.
Hello, hello, hello. Um,
That's what I got, Greg. That's
add
what
some
I
whiskey into
got.
that. I actually need to go to the store and grab some probably this weekend. But I've just got water today. I've been trying to drink more water, and it still doesn't help, which is
No, it
bullshit.
doesn't, because this is my fourth today, and this is 40 ounces.
Oh
I don't
man.
know. It's probably just the weather. But
So
guys, Clay's gonna do it
we
because he's got
have
intro.
yes, of course we have many things to talk about. We have some book news, we have some audiobook news, we have of course the big topic, which is the Mandalorian Grogu commercial over at the Super Bowl. And of course, we have our Lost Stars review, guys. This is going to debut on all podcast catchers on the 12th, which is 2 days before Valentine's Day. So, we, of course, last week did a Crash of Fate, and this week doing Lost Stars. It is the two most, I feel like, Valentine's Day esque. We could have
Yes.
thrown in Princess and the Scoundrel, but it's too soon. We've already done that book,
Yeah.
so uh, maybe in a couple years, probably bring it back. I don't know. Um,
rank the romantic Star Wars books of the
exactly,
galaxy.
but also I think we should because we're getting a fourth one with the next one that was actually announced last year, with it
Yep.
being like a true romantasy book within the Star Wars universe. So I think with a
So
total of
excited.
now four, maybe even five with Temptation of the Force, maybe.
Temptation of the Force. I was also gonna say Convergence.
Yes, Convergence as well. Yeah, we there's actually wow. Now that I think about it, there's a few of them. So we may have to add that as something we can do in the future. But guys, we will be talking about that as our last topic of the night. Now, do you want to rip the band-aid and talk about the Super
We
Bowl
need to rip the
ad?
band-aid off because I got opinions and
Okay.
they've been brewing because
I
I
I got
guys, I'm not on Twitter anymore. So I
this
didn't see nothing.
this is probably not the hottest take about this ad, but I'm just going to tell you the exact same thing that I told Adrian. I have never seen a company in my lifetime. I have never actually seen somebody wipe their ass with $10 million before until today. Like I have never before seen a company be able to just be like, "Hey, $10 million, whoop," and
because
that's what
it's
they did.
it's even more than $10 million, guys. Let's be real. Because they paid fucking Sam Elliott to narrate the gosh dang thing.
Yes, yes,
Like, I texted Clay and I said, "Oh, the GameSpot's already out, apparently," and it has tauntauns.
So, guys, I just want to. Okay, so I was out doing some errands, and I just get this random text from Katie. Random text saying, "So Twitter, no. So this one is ... followed by, I just saw a teaser for Mando and Grogu, and there's tauntauns." And that was it, right? As I was texting, what the hell? Was there any snow? She then continues, I came in at the end, so I'm not 100% sure, but there's a chariot pulled by tauntauns. And so, because I'm out running errands, in my mind, I just think there's random tauntauns on a random planet somewhere.
Do you want to know how I figured out that this was a Star Wars commercial? For the movie. It wasn't even just an ad that they were using Star Wars characters for.
Yeah, that would be completely different.
I could have said, okay, you know what? Fine. Whatever. It is what it is kind of thing. The reason I knew that this was a Star Wars ad is because my toddler looked and said, Grogu?
That's cute as fuck. But
it is. But like, I thought it, literally, I knew this was like the main take on social media feeds, even though I wasn't on Twitter. It was the main take on Threads. I thought it was a Bud Light commercial. Like, I thought we were about to see horses.
It was the, like, most ass freaking F-150 commercial that I have ever seen.
Yep. Greg said that was a lot of money to pay for a crap ad.
And the problem is, here's the true problem with that, okay? More than just, okay, there has been plenty of ads out there in the world that have collaborated with Star Wars. There has been Coca-Cola, there's been Doritos, there's been Mountain Dew. There's been so many out there where this type of commercial would have been appropriate, right? This specific ad was meant to be a reminder to viewers, hey, we have a movie coming out this year. Next month. Right? Is it March? It's March. May. Okay. In 3 months. Whatever. Right? And my problem with that is, it has been not 1, not 2, but 3 years since season 3 ended. I was not in Indiana when we recorded our review for season 3. I was still in Texas. Yeah. That is a problem. That is a huge problem.
And to spend this amount of money on marketing for a 30-second ad that literally just says, this is the way. In a smooth voice that is going to get a lot of nostalgia out of people because that's what Sam Elliott does. Why?
I genuinely think
this was literally the whitest commercial I think I've ever seen.
Yes, and not only that, like we have seen, and they know they messed up because they came across and then had to come out and say, "Oh, guys, there seems to be some confusion. This was not meant to be a grandiose trailer for Mandalorian Grogu. We wanted to have some fun and be nostalgic of the very classic ads that are out in the Super Bowl. Cool. Let's do that with a freaking Yoda or Chewbacca or somebody else. Don't put it where it's directly, and you had your freaking, when you look at the freaking ad, the actual name of the movie and the date came out at the very end. It was a reminder. Hey, we have a movie coming out. Don't say that it's not the reminder.
Yeah.
Don't say that it's not marketing for your movie that's coming out this year, because it was an attempt, and it was a very poor attempt.
And we have talked about how part of the reason that Solo failed is because they did not market at the Super Bowl for it. They went to the Super Bowl and said, oh, I'm just going to skip it this year. And didn't give us a trailer until almost 2.5 months before the movie came out. we've talked about how that was one of the biggest failings in Star Wars marketing. This, I would consider, is probably not going to be a failure, specifically because so many people are talking about how dumb it was. And as we've always said, any publicity is good publicity, guys. Like,
especially nowadays, negative clicks are still clicks.
And so the fact that people are talking about Star Wars and posting about it is good publicity, regardless of if it says, what the fuck was this? So, like, to be point blank, was it a cool trailer? Yes. But would it have been better? Was it a cool ad? Let's just say ad and not trailer, because I don't think this was a trailer. I don't if they go to Hoth, like, I might walk out of the theater. I'm not even joking. Like, I can't. Why would you go back to Hoth? There's nothing on Hoth.
Okay, so 3 days ago was the Super Bowl ad, and there's 3.1 million views on the official Star Wars ad for it. Okay,
I looked that up too. Maul's trailer has 3.9 views, 3.9 million views.
Mm-hmm.
I did not scroll back so far as to look at, like, the first Mando movie trailer. But, like, and I mean, even the top comments, and again, y'all, repeating myself, but bad publicity, good publicity. The top comments on that trailer are, what the heck is this? Basically.
This feels like an ad for Luke's green milk.
Yep. Like, this feels like an ad for a beverage.
Everyone in the bar thought this was a toy commercial. I'm just reading some of the comments here. It's like they're taking our "can it get any worse" comments and challenging it at this point. Do you remember Tauntauns? I remember Tauntauns. Literally, this feels like AI. That was another comment that I got a whole lot when I was looking up the reaction to this.
I will say I looked at it really hard because I was trying to figure out if there was any value in this trailer other than nostalgia. This was one of the least AI commercials of the Super Bowl. There was a crap ton of AI commercials in the Super Bowl, and it's kind of pathetic.
Yep.
So
one person even said they had the stormtrooper aim on this one. It was a swing and a miss. Very big miss.
Very big miss, but they might take it the wrong way because everybody and their mother's talking about it. So I would have rather seen a solo marketing technique here where they said, I'm just going to skip the Super Bowl. You're talking about, oh, we need to save money. We need to be careful about our budgets. And then you blow at least $20 million on this. That was super pathetic.
I don't know what else there really is to say.
Yeah, we don't want to harp on it because.
But the first comment that I said was kind of like the one thing that I told everybody was like, I have never, in the history of watching television, has seen somebody take that much money and basically use it as toilet paper. It's mind-boggling, genuinely mind-boggling. But we shall see how it is when it comes to the actual release of the movie. Again, we have talked about what the box office is going to look like. We don't believe that it's going to crack 700. So we'll see.
Yep.
They are preying on true Star Wars fans' hearts. I think that is somewhat true. Again, it's the idea of going into nostalgia. The Clydesdale, Bud Light, Budweiser commercials, type of thing. It is what it is. But again, with it being so short, so small, not giving us any more information about the movie, like it didn't do anything to help them in their favor. Is how
No,
I feel.
they're trying to pull in the boomers and the Gen Xers in this and go, hey, you can come back to the theater, like nostalgia, great, yay. Um,
Yeah, and
not the
that's
movie.
exactly what Greg says at the very bottom of his comments. He said, "Sounds like Star Wars advertisement played into a feature that only allows the next level fans to understand." Trying
Yep.
to reach a audience that I don't necessarily think you need to try and go for the Gen Xers. Like,
Yeah.
genuinely, I think that you should just go for, hey, what's the general audience really going for these days? And go for that. That's all you got to do.
Yep.
But
100%. He also says the Mall's trailer looks amazing.
yes,
100% agree.
yeah, we talked about that 2 weeks ago now. So
Yeah. But
uh,
super excited for that show to come out.
the next thing on our list, Katie, which one do you want to talk about first? A lot of book news.
So the only one Star Wars News Net has is the Audible original. So guys, this is going to be an Audible original. And it is written by Kevin Scott and narrated by Mark Thompson. Um, and it's due to come out April 30th. It's called Star Wars Terror on Mustafar. Um, and Once Upon a Galaxy on Facebook actually posted this. And it says Imperial cadets are in awe of the Empire's mightiest warrior, Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith. But when a few young cadets find themselves trapped on the lava-filled planet of Mustafar and in the shadow of Vader's castle, they will soon discover that the Empire is not what it seems. Now they must work together to escape from an evil scientist, his horrendous experiments, and the fearsome Darth Vader. This is a 229-minute
Original.
original.
Ooh.
So just over 3 hours, just under 4
Yeah,
hours.
that's around the same time that we've been seeing for the Audible originals, maybe a little bit longer than the last
Mm-hmm.
two that we've talked about. And I just want to highlight this. Greg, Katie and I took into account the two nerd box offices that we looked into this past year, which was Fantastic Four and Superman, and looked at the trailer, kind of looked at our own projections, and we don't think that it's going to surpass either Fantastic Four or Superman.
Yeah.
Even though it is the
I
first Star
do
Wars
think
movie in 6 years.
I do think it'll pass Fantastic Four at least. I don't know if it'll pass Superman. Because Superman
That's fair.
was, I think, 620.
Yeah,
So
that's true. That's true.
um I just think also with post COVID and movie theater prices, that's also something to take into consideration. Um so yeah.
And of course, there is the phenomenons like Zootopia, um, which I think is still insane that it made 1 billion. But yeah, you know. The next two pieces of book news, we have a horror themed middle grade Star Wars novel by Kirsten White. It'll be published this fall. Synopsis being: haunted by an evil presence, a young girl tries to solve the nightmarish mystery. Uh, is her boogeyman a Sith or something darker? Horror readers and Star Wars fans of all ages will thrill to this fright filled middle grade novel. So, I think this will be kind of fun. Um, the last Kirsten White book that we read was Padawan,
Mhm.
and we were pretty neutral on it. I think there was some contradicting things that we felt with the High Republic with that one. This being, horror, not really Katie's forte when it comes to genres. Neither is mine. but I think Kirsten White might be uh, keeping it a little bit toned down because it is supposed to be a young reader's book. So, hopefully we won't have any nightmares after that.
Yeah, and that's the goal, right? Is that we won't have any nightmares because it's hopefully written for a younger audience. I I am kind of excited about this because I feel like Kirsten White is probably more suited for a middle grade storytelling.
Hmm.
So I'm interested to see how this goes.
Yeah. And of course, the last bit of book news is the fact that the novelization of The Mandalorian Grogu will be published this fall. And
Yep.
that is that.
So that yeah, it's a junior novelization. It's not an adult novelization. I think that's a key point to make here. Um, they really have not tried to do adult novelizations since The Rise of Skywalker. We've had novelizations of like Book Boba Fett, Mandalorian, but they've all been junior novelizations. So this is probably not something that we will tackle
Hmm.
uh, unless we were to like really think about it and like be like, we have nothing else to cover kind of thing.
Yeah, and
Like,
and
so.
I will also just go out and flat out say it. If we are asked to cover it, via, of course, uh, who do you think would be publishing that? Would it be
I think it's
Disney?
typically Insights that does
Oh,
those.
really?
Yeah. And we haven't talked to Insights yet.
Yeah, no. But if Del Rey or Disney were to approach us about it, then yeah, sure, whatever, we could definitely do it. But if not, then we're probably not going to touch it.
And
Um,
as always, guys, if they were to talk to us about it, you get an honest opinion from us. So,
yes, of course. But with that, I think we are already going to be jumping into our Lost Stars review. Oh,
yes.
okay. I was
Yes,
like,
we are. Sorry, my
it looked
sister
like you.
texted
It
me.
looked like you froze just for a second. I was like, oh no.
Sorry,
um,
my sister texted me. Um, she was asking me for something, so I'm gonna find this. But yes, I'm ready to dive into Lost Stars, guys. This is, I would call this a Romeo and Juliet of Star Wars.
yes. Actually, yeah. A lot of parallels to that. Katie, I don't know if this is going to be controversial or not because I've never really heard your opinion on this. I want to say that it's not like the best book ever in your mind. Um, but this would have been a 10 out of 10 if it wasn't for the ending.
If it wasn't for the ending, yeah.
Yeah. I
No,
think
this
like
is
I actually had a really fun time with this. I thought this guys, I don't know why I haven't read this book in so long, but like we just talked about the genre of romantasy last week about how Katie kind of plunged me into it recently and how it could be well Star Wars specifically has never really got like raunchy. It's never really been like
Oh yeah.
spicy.
There
This
was
book,
two making love comments in here.
this book like really toted the line for where Star Wars has been like ever in when it
Mhm.
comes to romance stuff. And I was like, okay, okay. And like there was
Yep.
even some comments I will say I think Claudia Gray did it on purpose, but there's like a lot of like toxic masculinity like comments here that kind of made me feel a little gross. I actually highlighted some of those. Um, but yeah, like I was reading this and I was like, this is actually really good. I actually really like this. And
This is
then I
probably
read
my
chapter 28, 27 and 28 was like the two chapters that I'm just like, God damn it.
probably in Claudia Gray's writing for Star Wars, Not her High Republic stuff, because that would just draw things out too far. But it would probably be Leia, Princess of Alderaan, Lost Stars, Bloodline, and then Master and Apprentice.
Okay, so I have read all of those now.
Mm-hmm.
I've read all of those. I still think Princess Leia's top notch. I think that is number one. I think I might be in the same boat as you, actually. I think I would have to listen or read Bloodline and Master and Apprentice again, because I did have a lot of fun with Master and Apprentice, but I think I was a little more into Bloodline.
Yeah.
Lost Stars, I was into more than Bloodline for sure, and more than Master and Apprentice. This book really drew me in. I really, really enjoyed it. From like the early days of the two characters, we literally got the entire trilogy of the original trilogy going into the sequel trilogy. And excuse me.
Not the sequel trilogy. You don't go that far.
We don't go that far. Yeah, because we get to the very beginnings of the Battle of Jakku.
Yeah, and the Battle of Jakku being the one that we witness in the Aftermath trilogy, in the last book of Aftermath.
Yeah.
So that's kind of your timeline with this, guys. It takes place. The prologue happens in 11 BBY. The majority of the book takes place between 6 BBY and 5 ABY. So you might recognize a character that's in this, Commandant Dean Lark, because he's in the Thrawn trilogy, or at least the first Thrawn book. You would not see Thrawn in this book, because he didn't exist at this point. This book came out in September of 2015. So Thrawn wasn't even into consideration yet as far as Rebels. And the Thrawn books came out after he made an appearance in Rebels. So, but Zahn did reuse Commandant Dean Lark for...
I was actually really wondering about that, because they're of course, when you think about the hey, what's gonna happen after the Emperor falls, Thrawn does play a part in that, and so I thought Thrawn was gonna be brought up. I didn't know that was published prior to that, though.
Yeah, Thrawn. Let's see. On canon book. Star Wars, the Imperial Trilogy is apparently what it's called on Wikipedia. Thrawn came out in 2017. So not too far off, but still far enough apart where it makes a difference.
Yeah. But there was a lot of familiar faces, and I am pretty sure, especially now that I know that the preview to Leia, Princess of Alderaan, is at the very end of this book. I'm pretty sure that a part of Princess of Alderaan takes place in this book.
Yes. It has been a while since I have read Leia, Princess of Alderaan. That was published September 2017. So approximately 2 years later. Because Lost Stars was published as part of the Journey to the Force Awakens, and Leia, Princess of Alderaan was published in the Journey to Star Wars: The Last Jedi. So it's still part of the same type of publishing
initiative of thing, yeah.
But let me see. So this takes place in 3 BBY. So Lost Stars taking place 6 BBY. Yeah, because I believe Leia is a junior senator.
There's a moment where they're at this ball, and Leia's there.
Yeah.
And that ball, I'm pretty sure, plays a very important part in Leia, Princess of Alderaan. And it's really funny because in this book, Thane, which is one of our characters, mentions that Leia looked very distracted. Guys, I just finished Leia Prince of Onderon like last year. Like, so it's fresh in my mind. I remember that like she was like trying to be a spy without anybody else knowing, not her parents, not Mon Mothma, like not anybody. So like she was getting into some stuff around that time too. So I think it's kind of cool that Claudia quite possibly like had planned this out when looking into like her stuff for Leia, Princess of Alderaan.
I do think she did because Bloodline Star Wars. Let's see. Bloodline was published as well in the Journey to Star Wars: The Force Awakens. So that was published May 3rd, 2016. And so I really think she tried to treat, like, I really feel like she wanted a, like, original trilogy era Leia to kind of complete her trilogy of Leia here, because you have Leia, Princess of Alderaan, so you have book 1 and book 3 idealistically. And I know a lot of people were like, hey, we would love to get a Leia original trilogy novel from her. I do think probably she has kind of reached the point with like Justina Ireland where she's like, I am super tired of Star Wars. I don't want to do anymore, because Claudia Gray has been doing a lot of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So like I think that's why she fell off in phase 3 of the High Republic, is because she's like, dude, I'm dead. So
makes sense. But some of the things that I wanted to highlight. Well, first, we said the timeline that this goes through, but we didn't talk about who this book is about. This book is about 2 star-crossed lovers, Sienna and Thane. They grew up on the planet of
Jellucan.
Yes. And they were in 2 different factions of their society. Sienna was a little bit of the lower class, while Thane was upper class. And they both grew up wanting to be servants of the Empire. And Katie, that's one of the first highlights that I wanted to talk to you about. Every single time we read a book, majority of the time, we've been reading in the eyes of the rebels, fighting the bad guys. It wasn't until recently, with the Darth Vader book, the Dynasty of
Master
of Evil. Sorry, Master of Evil. That we really were in the shoes of the Empire. Little did I know they had already done that before with this. It boggled my mind to see the thoughts of these characters and be like, no, you're on the wrong side. Stop saying these things. You don't know anything.
But Claudia Gray does an incredible job with tying that to Sienna's heritage.
Yeah.
Because you get in kind of the early chapters while they're still on Jellucan, you get a point where one of their neighbors has been accused of something dishonorable. And so Sienna has to go basically stand vigil with them to show that people believe in their honor, kind of thing. And that for the heritage of Jellucan, for the people who lived there first, to do something dishonorable is the highest, like, treasonous thing you could do, basically.
Yeah. Honor is like the base of all of their values in this society. And I really like that. Now, again, it made me really hate the last chapters of this book.
Yeah.
And more so, I just want to say, because of the physical fight. If there was a verbal fight, I would have been completely fine. It was the physical fight that made me just groan and be like, are you serious? We have to go through this entire 22-page chapter of them throwing hands at each other? Like, seriously? But we'll get there. But I really liked Sienna's really core values of, hey, honor is what it is. My word is sacred. My oath is sacred. And it was very interesting how Claudia Gray wrote it to where there is a little bit of contradiction when it comes to honor. And I love the way she wrote this and the way that she had Thane explain it to Sienna. It's not that Thane explained it as like, oh, you don't have to worry about you being loyal to the Empire. Is the Empire being loyal to you?
Yep.
And it's and that is meaning like, hey, all of this stuff that the Empire has promised, are they keeping that promise? Or are they just dangling it in front of you to make you do everything that they want you to do? And that's what the Empire does. And that's what Thane eventually sees. And he's out.
Yep.
I loved it.
He gets so pissed off on their behalf at the end of it because, like, he wants to basically have all of this support structure where they can follow their dreams and fly the best and brightest of the Imperial galaxy's ships. And so, especially when they're at the academy and they have that cheating scandal come up where, like, in the system, it says, oh, Sienna did this. But then Jude comes out and is like, oh, no, but, like, Thane did
It's
it.
actually a cover-up because Thane really did it.
Yep. And then
yeah, it was
Jude
so
digs
like,
down further and is like, actually, no, neither of you did it. It was somebody
the
in the
Empire.
student outcomes. Like,
yeah, it
and you're
was
screaming the entire time because you're like, why is this so hard for Sienna to understand? Because she hadn't taken an oath at this time. Like, she's in
but
the
it's
academy.
the ideal.
It's the ideal.
Yeah.
100%.
And that was something that I really liked also because I immediately, when I was reading the chapter when Thane had messed up, I was like, who are they going to frame it on?
Yep.
Like, because I immediately thought, I was like, oh, okay, like, these two are the hardest working two individuals in this academy. Like, they're not going to mess up. Who is it going to be blamed on?
Yep.
And as soon as I saw where it was going, I was like, oh, it's the Empire trying to mess things up. And then I love how they throw the wrench in it when it wasn't I can't remember who it was, but there was somebody in the academy that at the ball was
It's
like,
his roommate.
you two are so stupid. You, like, he was all drunk and he was saying all of these things. He's like, can't you see that it was this? And then even Thane and Sienna said, okay, let's calm down. What if it's actually his father?
Yep.
That, you know, threw some money at some people to get his points up as high as they need to be successful in the academy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do like that they threw that in there to keep the reader guessing.
Yep.
Do they ever give you an answer? No, because they still want you to question everything. Claudia Gray wants you to question everything, especially when it comes time when Sienna has to go and view the trial of her mother. Because Sienna then immediately thinks, oh crap, what if this is a test? What if this is a test and they're trying to see if I'm loyal, and if I say that my mother's innocence is true, then I'm actually I'm defying the Empire, and I'll get in trouble for that, and I'll get reprimanded and punished.
Yep.
Like, there's so many twists and turns in this. I um I really liked how Thane was the one to turn first. Because when in the academy, he's so passionate about like seeing the corruption already. It's like, dude, you're right there. You're right there. Like just a little bit further and you're there. But my question to you is, how did you feel about Nash and his story? Because he's not really that important, but he
Right.
becomes a important character due to the fact of how he is so close to Sienna near the end of the story.
So I thought he was interesting because he almost was kind of like the big brother that Thane always wanted. Um, and so playing off that foil and finding, oh, that Nash actually really likes Sienna and wants to make it a thing. Like it's a big part of the novel that kind of lingers in the background until the very end. And I almost wish that Claudia had kind of played up that part towards the end,
Mm-hmm.
especially when Sienna saves Thane, instead of Nash going like, oh, like, how could you do that? Like, he clearly betrayed you. Like, he goes and comforts her and is like, oh, you were just shocked. Like, I wish that had kind of been played up almost.
I don't know, because again, Claudia had purposely wrote some stuff in here that made me feel
It's
really gross.
it's
Um
very nitpicky, I know, but like,
there's I like I said, I highlighted some stuff. There was something in the very beginning of the book, uh when it talked about Dalvin, which is Thane's brother.
yep,
We know that Dalvin actually picked on Sienna a whole lot as they were kids because, of course, she was the lower class.
yep.
And it says here, uh, not long before Dalvin had left the academy, he sneered and said that there was only one reason to pick up some girls from the valleys. And if that was what Thane was after, he ought to get one who had breasts already. Thane split Dalvin's lip before their parents pulled them apart. Like, I know that, like, Claudia Gray is a great writer, but there was just some things in here that made me go like, ugh, this gives me the ick. Um,
It does, but I think that's on purpose. And
it
she does it very well because this is a young adult novel and she
yes,
treats the young adult readers, the teenagers, like they should be treated in this instance. Also, you've had this comment highlighted, but Travis, hello.
yes.
He's
Hello,
in the
Travis.
chat.
Sorry. Yes, this book is now a decade old, and he said that it's one of his favorites. Another comment that was giving me the ick was also from Nash, and this was around the time of the ball, and he said, uh, "This is when they're talking about what they should do on their free time." He says, "Oh, they're go to the clubs, cantinas, blah blah blah. Girls who are forbidden, like our fellow cadets. Oh, girls who aren't forbidden." Like talking about, oh, we can go see some girls at some clubs. Hey, not these girls that are forbidden. Our fellow cadets. No, touchable girls. ah, it's creepy. It's weird.
But
It's
the teenagers need to feel uncomfortable with these things because too often, especially right now, guys, we have kids who are like, oh, yeah, like all this is fine. No, it's not fine. And you need to recognize that. And so I think the discomfort is there on purpose. And you haven't said like you disliked it in a writing sense. You just are experiencing your feelings with it.
oh yeah, no. Like, and truly, like again, Claudia Gray did an amazing job at this. The feelings and the emotions that I am getting reading these words on these pages is exactly what she is wanting to invoke in us. Is
Yep.
hey, this is not right. This is uncomfortable. This is gross. Um, especially when we get to a point in the future where Thane has left the Empire. Um, and Sienna covered for him, even though she said she wasn't going to.
Yep.
She
I love that because it just shows it shows the depths to which she was willing to break the oath. Because
Mhm.
a lot of people are like, oh, like this isn't okay. Like this is the one thing you chose to break your oath for. But it was because she was protecting him, guys. And that was
Yeah.
showing the depths of her love. Like,
Well,
come
and that
on.
was that was something that I really enjoyed when it came into like the perspective of Sienna was how is she going to justify this?
Yeah.
What kind of hypocrisy is she going to, you know, what hoops is she going to jump into her own brain for the idea of, oh, I'm still loyal to the Empire, but I'm loyal to this one individual, right?
Yep.
And Thane was the same way for a bit. Until, of course, he saw what happened to the Death Star. With the Death Star and then to the Death Star. And he's like, hey, yeah, you know, like even the rebellion, he's like, hey, I am loyal to the rebellion, but I'm more loyal to her. Right?
I love
Because
it.
there's even this moment where they do see each other again in the future. And he goes to one of his superiors in the rebellion. He's like, hey, I got to tell you what I've been doing. He's like, this is a volunteer service. You don't need to tell me anything. And as he's walking away, he's like, hey, I saw a superior officer in the Empire. And like he stops in his tracks and he turns around and he's like, what did you just say?
What?
You willingly met with the enemy? He's like, yeah. And like again, it gets a little gross in the sense of like military talk, and they're like, "Oh, so you went to go meet this girl and banged your ex?" Like, I'm like, okay. It does get really intimate. There, like, there's a moment where
But it's all
Claudia,
good feeling, like about not good feelings, but like it's all really well written. And the emotional
the way his
turmoil
eyes
that
seem
you
to
go
drink
through
her
it.
in, I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
like, hey now.
I was
Um,
listening to this today and I was like, ooh, I forgot he said that.
which I'm actually really jealous of because I couldn't listen to this book. I was literally just 3 days short of
Thank you,
starting
Libby.
it. So I need, like, I still have it on hold again at Libby, and I will listen to this book when it becomes available again. I will listen to it because I do think this book deserves a reread. Um, but yeah, guys, this book was actually really, really fun. Um, Going back and forth with their perspectives and their ideals and what it means to fight against a terroristic regime. Um, of course, Thane seeing the ideas of what the Empire is doing and willing to completely destroy planets for, you know, just the intimidation factor. Um, you know, he immediately saw that as something wrong and left the Empire. Whereas Sienna saw it as like, oh, it's a one-time thing. They'll never have to do that again, but at least they stopped the war. And then
Yeah.
again, it's so funny because in today's society, there is a lot of people that are willing to say, okay, this is where I'm drawing the line. Okay, well, you stepped over that line. Now I'm going to draw a new line. And that seemed to be Sienna. Every single historic event that happened with the Empire, Sienna kept drawing that line and kept drawing that line and saying, oh, but I'm loyal, I'm loyal, I'm loyal, I'm loyal. Even all the way to the very end, to the point where Claudia Gray does not give you the satisfaction of being able to see Sienna say, hey, I've left the Empire. No. She is still loyal to the Empire at the end of this. That's not what I'm upset about. Again, when it comes time at the very end, Thane and Sienna get in an actual physical altercation. And they're just arguing, like, oh, I'm willing to die with you right here. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I'm willing to die with you right here also. But I'm trying to save you. But I'm trying to save you. I'm trying to save you. I'm going to hit you. I'm going to hit you. I'm going to kick you. But I would have much rather had, like, an emotional spilling of feelings, even though that's what they did every single time they saw each other. Like, because it got to a point that even, like, Thane this time around, at the very end, like, not even at the very end, when he was, like, meeting her in her cell at the very end of the book, he starts to, like, argue with her, and he's like, you know what? We're gonna say the same thing that we always say every single time. I'm not even gonna waste my breath.
Yeah. Because it's really not worth it to him. Like, he wants to enjoy the time that he's spending with her.
Yeah.
And we don't know what happens to Sienna at the end of this. And I think that's what sucks the most is, like, I want to know what happened to her ultimately. And so, like, to me, that's what I need from Claudia Gray is I need what happened to Sienna.
there needs to be, like, something. Well, I, like, again, just like how we talked about in excuse me, in Crash of Fate, how, oh, you know, these two, you know, individuals that grew up together, you know, it's assumed that they're gonna be out in the fight in Exegol, right?
Yeah.
I think there needs to be another, like, a certain point of view where we see Sienna and Thane.
At the very least. The other thing that I would love to see is if maybe Disney and or Random House Worlds, because Random House Worlds now has a contract to publish young adult books.
Yeah.
If they could go, obviously 10-year anniversary is too soon at this point, or has passed. So maybe if we could do like a 15-year special edition.
Ooh.
Where we get an epilogue at the back of the book that says, they lived happily ever after, the end.
Well, like, okay,
because,
so...
like, I know it's supposed to be Romeo and Juliet. Like, that is the trope here, right? Is the star-crossed lovers going into it and just, like, it's a retelling of Romeo and Juliet in Star Wars. And so I know there is no happily ever after in Romeo and Juliet. Guys, don't tell me that, because I know that. Well, we can still take the trope and use it as the main story, but they have a happily ever after.
That does bring me to my final question, though. Claudia Gray decided to not end the book with Sienna and Thane, and instead ended the book with Nash, with the Empire, with Thane's brother, Delvin.
Which I thought was very interesting.
Well, tell me, like, what are your thoughts on that? Why do you think she did that?
Well, so I think it was, like, to go with the setting up of the Grand Empire that we get in The Rise of Skywalker. It's setting up for that First Order, the Final Order kind of thing. And so that's again playing into all of like the aftermath, Alphabet Squadron, all those things. And so I think that was the setup there is like, hey, we're all united again. We're going to figure this out. And so there's a lot of people who kind of end up there. And our thought process with that story is, hey, they're all over there in on Exegol or in the unknown regions, like working on building the First Order, because this all takes place 5 ABY. The First Order doesn't really come to light until 30 ABY. So we're talking 25 years where people could die, people could do all these things, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thought, is because it's that journey to the Force Awakens.
Yeah.
She was told, hey, you need to end it with some tie-in to the planning for the First Order.
Yeah. Again, just because of the way that Nash's character evolved, I'm not entirely sure how I felt with him not dying. And that's more so because I think that it would have been, again, a part of that, like, Romeo Juliet, like, very poetic tragic death. Now, we already had that poetic tragic death with Jude, but we rarely had Jude. We actually started to grow in, like, some sort of acknowledgement and relationship with Nash. Like,
Yeah.
I really do feel like if there was a clash between Thane and Nash, that there would have been something there. But because there even was, at one point, Nash recognized Thane's voice and was like, you mother effer, you're alive. You joined the rebellion. You deserve to die. And Sienna was like, oh crap, I have to save him. And she had to do it kind of meticulously so that way, you know, she wasn't seen as a traitor or anything else. So, like, to see him grow into this inevitable person of power in the Empire, or the, you know, remnants of the Empire, excuse me, I was like, okay, but we don't really see anything of him in the future. So, like, why end it with Nash, you know?
And
That was my thing.
again, I think it's mainly because Lucasfilm had all these grand ideas for what the Final Order was supposed to be. And so they came into this going, hey, we'll take these Journey to X movie and then expand upon it with something else. And so they were planning all of these things to happen. Well, then Last Jedi didn't hit with people.
Yeah.
With the mega fanboys as much as it would have liked. And so then they had to pivot into something else, which is what The Rise of Skywalker became. So it's a lot of things, I think, that came into, hey, we have all these grand ideas. Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Travis. He says the idea that Nash goes to Exegol, implying that once you're part of the First Order, or of the Final Order, there is no defecting. You go to Exegol, you stay there. I think that's 100% accurate. Palpatine manipulated the people of Exegol to kind of help him with his Sith Empire. And it's the very exact same thing that happens with the Imperial Remnant that ends up in the unknown regions that eventually gets to Exegol. I think that's why we haven't heard much from Admiral Ray Sloan, is because it's kind of the exact same thing here. Basically, our impression is that all of these area of books, probably 2015 to 2018, if they end with somebody going off into the unknown regions, they probably died before the sequel trilogy started.
Yeah.
In the unknown regions working for the First Order, Final Order, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. He also says, nothing based in canon, but I could see Palpatine taking the most gifted of his strategists and command and using them as clone templates to create the perfect order.
Yeah.
I could see that. I could see that. Really, really cool headcanon there, Travis.
Yeah. I like that, especially because like he's experimenting with cloning anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, guys, that is it for our review. I would, as somebody who read this for the very first time, 100% would recommend Lost Stars. Um, in the books that I've read of Claudia Gray, just like Katie said, this is ranked number 2, right behind Leia, Princess of Alderaan. So yeah, highly recommended as a if you are looking for a Valentine's gift for your Star Wars nerd significant other, Lost Stars would definitely be on that list. Now it might be harder to find because it is a 10-year-old book, but you know maybe you can find at least a paperback copy of it.
Yeah.
Um,
And to those, because I went to the doctor's office today and 2 people asked for why I was in a Star Wars shirt and Mara was in a Star Wars shirt. And I was like, I host a Star Wars podcast. We dress in Star Wars shirts on Wednesdays, like the entire
I
family.
need to do some laundry.
Hell
I'm sorry.
yeah. But no, like if you're here from those recommendations at the doctor's office, hi, thanks for being here.
But
So, which makes it more pathetic when they're thwarted by their backup cameras getting destroyed.
guys,
Okay,
that is
headphones, I
going to
get it. You
be
want to be charged. Sorry.
that'll be it for the review and for the podcast, guys. Remember, if you would like to follow me and or the show, we are going to be more active over on Threads, Blue Sky, and Instagram. Search Fanboy Clay over on Instagram and Blue Sky, and you can find me. Of course, you can always search for Star Wars Alliance. No A in Wars, very important. Don't forget it. That's STARWRS Alliance on Blue Sky and Instagram. Instagram is immediately Instagram created Threads like immediately when I created the or when we created the Instagram account. So if you're looking for us on Threads, we will be there. But yeah, Katie, what about you?
Y'all, you can find me on most social media platforms. It's at Slice of Katie. I am no longer on Twitter. Twitter decided to log me out, and I deleted it completely off my phone. So sorry to
Bravo
you
to you.
guys. I love you guys. Can we move off Twitter for the group chat, please?
I've seen that Instagram does group chats. The only thing is that like links are weird.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think Instagram would be good. But again, that's totally up
I
to
know
the majority.
I saw Snell had made an Instagram profile, so maybe he's getting there. But if you're on any of the other social media platforms that we've mentioned, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, that is where I am most of the time if I'm on social media at all. But as always, I will get back to you guys. I still never messaged my Knock Manor from last week. Shit.
Oh,
I promise
man.
I'll get back to you guys eventually. With that, guys, I want to wish everyone a great day or night, whatever time of day you're listening or watching, and we will see y'all next time. If you've been here in the chat, thank you for participating. We love you guys as always. May the force be with you.